Racing is, I want to say everything, but my family is everything. Kelsey can do stuff with the Go Kart that I never thought was possible. It's like I'm living a dream. It's taken years to get her where she is right now, but it was always growing steps. So meaning, I always felt like Kelsey, at the different stages that she was always leading those stages. So meaning, at the ages that she was doing, or as she was learning the karting, she always seemed to be coming out on top. Racing's sweet, it can be sour, but at the end of the day, it's that dessert that you love. Winning is just icing on top of the cake. It just makes it that much sweeter. It's one thing to be fast and to get to the top. It's twice as hard to stay on the top. I'm very proud that we're from the East Coast. I do feel like, you know, maybe compared to other provinces in Canada, you know, we're very welcoming. Not that other people aren't. I just think it's something that East Coasters pride themselves in.
I certainly do. I love being from the East Coast, and we often, you know, we've met so many people now from the United States, and lots of friends in Ontario and PEI, and it's nice to tell them where you're from, and you know, different stories from down here compared to there, and yeah, no, I'm very proud of being from the East Coast.
We used to just ride. We used to ride bikes on the weekends. Some of the guys I rode with used to go out and practice. One day they just kind of said to me, they said, "Hey, you practice with us on Saturday, but you don't race on Sunday. How come?" I just really never thought of it. So anyways, I decided to start racing. That was at the age of 13, and I haven't stopped.
I technically grew up at the racetrack just from like being there when I was a kid until like just about any time now, like even just going to the racetrack when he's like working for other teams and stuff, like he's definitely the one who brought racing into my life and like sparked that interest. So I started karting the year I was 8 turning 9 that summer, where we were kind of going around like just me and my family, and we were trying rental go-karts all across the Maritimes while we were camping.
We had some really good weekends in PEI. There's a really nice campground over there, the KOA Cavendish, and just, you know, watching the kids on the jumping pillow and Graham on the jumping pillow with them.
So we went to the rental go-kart spot in Moncton, East Coast Karting.
Her dad and her came to my rental track back in the day, like 8 years ago, and tried it, and she really, as a young girl, she really loved it. So they asked me if they could actually come and rent a go-kart from us, because we did that at the time. And we ran it one tour, and
I've been hooked ever since.
17-year-old Kelsey Hann is from New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. In the summer of 2019, she placed second in the Briggs & Stratton National Go Karting Championships in just her first year in the senior division, having made the jump from junior division last year, making her the best female Briggs & Stratton go-kart driver in the country and the second best competitive go-kart driver in Canada. Team principal and owner Gerald Caseley explains it's an impressive feat.
probably one of the biggest things when you jump from junior to senior is the intimidation of the other drivers in the country that have been at the top of the game for a long time. So basically, like this year at the Canadian Nationals, some of the people that she's beat was a 3-time national champion that's 27 years old, and just to come into the class and not be intimidated by that it says something of her.
Gerald Sr. has just really been such like a huge mentor in like my whole karting career. Like I just owe so much of this career to him. Like just from the time I was a kid, like just kind of teaching my dad some of the basics about like working on the kart and giving me small tips about like where to hold my hands on the steering wheel.
Gerald Caseley definitely, mentored me. He was always great to answer questions. Being mechanically inclined, I had some ideas what to do. I just needed a little bit of guidance, and I felt like, Gerald was great to give me that guidance.
Although my dad was a mechanic and stuff, go-karts are a completely different world for sure. So I mean, Gerald Sr. is always good to help anybody new into this sport. Like he just opens karting up with open arms and just kind of helps anybody get started.
She's come a long way from when she started, but she's always had that drive or that to do better.
Kelsey made mistakes, and because I wasn't a karter, I didn't know that she was making the mistake, and she kind of had to learn that stuff on her own. So for a good period of time, I didn't know what to do in a case like that there, because I felt like the learning curve was taking too long. So we would employ help. Kelsey, we had gotten another tuner at one time, mainly to coach her in her racing. And rather than Kelsey try to figure out all the mistakes on her own, he would assist her or say, you made a mistake there, and it made the learning faster.
She's went from entry level, finishing at the back, to probably number 1 or number 2 in the country on any given day. It makes me proud. I like to have her on the team for that matter, that she's a girl and she's really good, and she can compete with any of the best men in the country.
I initially met Kelsey during her first race, so spoke with her, and that was our first really, substantial conversation that, we really got to enjoy each other, understand what each other's about, and it kind of just started growing from there.
Gerald Caseley Jr., he was my first coach, so he was kind of my first mentor when it came to karting type of deal. So yeah, he taught me a lot of stuff, from how to drive the kart to kind of built to who I was going to be as a racer type of deal.
I recall Kelsey being very close with the points, so she had been doing well all season. And I recall actually the last race of the season, or maybe the most important race of the season, she had a rough early couple races. So she was struggling a little bit.
He definitely taught me a lot about that mental game and how to focus and stuff and before a race, and kind of concealing all your emotion on the track and just leaving it all leave it all on the track essentially.
I recall speaking to her quite extensively because she was a little emotional. As kids are whenever they're younger, trying to do the best they can.
It's hard when you start at such a young age, thinking to be 9 years old and having to deal with such loss. It definitely wasn't easy.
There's been a couple of particular negatives that I remember, sometimes just not being Kelsey's fault, or the same thing, it was some growing pains. It was Kelsey learning stuff as she went along, and you have to make mistakes to learn and go forward.
My son started coaching her some, and she improved and improved, and then she had other coaches over the years.
And I kind of speak to her attitude has been consistent all the way through, really. Even initially, she was very passionate about the sport, very driven, and certainly didn't cut any corners. She has always gone above and beyond, and as a result, through years of experience and going above and beyond, she's really developed into a very good driver. She, throughout her junior career, she made huge strides. So as she developed through junior, I worked with her, but also there was another individual by the name of Michael Adams, who's been really helping her with the aggression side of things.
Well, in those first few years we were working together. Like I said, she was coming out here to Ontario, and it's a bit of a different environment out here. The aggression levels are much higher, competition's much higher. You really need to raise yourself to that level. So, the first little while we were getting kicked down quite a bit. Yeah, we worked a lot on confidence and, like I said, aggression, but confidence was definitely something we worked on in the first few years too. You know, the sense of I belong here, I deserve to be here. Own the track, own your decisions, and own up to when you make a mistake.
That was a pretty big year. Like, the junior field got pretty heavy that year. There were lots of competitors in there, lots of people who could win any race. Like, in a lot of the races we went to that year, it was a different winner every single weekend just because there was so much like competition out there. But we ran quite a few more races in Ontario that year, so kind of having more competitors to go against, more like stiff competition. And yeah, it wasn't easy at all. Like, we were starting from not some of the best positions, so sometimes it's hard starting in like that mid to back pack, trying to get through. That can be some of the toughest racing you're gonna see. So I definitely had my fair share of like getting beat up in the pack, and yeah, it definitely took a toll on me for sure.
So the Caseleys hooked us up together, and I started coaching her out here. So we focused a lot on aggression, calculated aggression, understanding how to walk the line between what's too far and what's the right amount. So that was a bit of a learning curve for her.
It was just a lot of kind of running in that mid to back pack, and it was just really rough, you know. Just kind of, it was hard. I was down on myself for a bit, you know. It definitely wasn't hard on like my self-esteem, kind of having all those bad results time after time, and I just felt bad, you know, driving all that way just to not get the results. It was hard.
And, you know, feeling that sense of discouragement and how we're going to get past this, how are we going to, you know, everyone thinks I'm a waste of time, and, you know, you gotta understand that other people are having bad race days too. You're not the only one out there, and no one's going to take notice of you having a bad day. They're only going to take notice of you having a good day.
Because Kelsey would put such hard work into racing and took it so seriously at such an early level, then we would carry that along. So with her drive, it was like a snowball effect. The more she wanted to practice, the more I would take her. You know, when she adapted so well to coaching, we would get her more coaching. So I feel like some of that stuff always made a difference. Same thing is the competition level. I found that when Kelsey started racing more at the front of the pack at our local track in Moncton, then we would go to a bigger stage. We would go where the competition, you know, was stronger. So she wasn't racing at the front, she would be running mid-pack, and it was harder, so it made her work harder. And I feel like a lot of that stuff has made her better.
In the karting community, I was lucky to, you know, get hooked up with the Hans, and Graham's awesome, and really was able to focus on making Kelsey a better driver and focusing on the areas that she needed development in. And it's just been so fulfilling to see Kelsey's development in this past few seasons, and how far she's progressed in all aspects of motorsports.
I'm proud of her. I'm really proud of her. It's very cool to see where she started and see where that sparked from, and watching her get better and better. And we've had our hard times. It's so hard going away and putting so much into it and spending so much money, and then like one thing breaking and the whole weekend's over. And it's hard to remember how hard she's worked when that happens.
I mean, some of those tough times in 2017 were some of my best learning moments for sure. So I definitely feel like going through all that stuff I went through in 2017 has led me to all my success in 2019 for sure.
As much as I could try to tell her everything was fine, she wasn't happy with herself, and I just you learn, you know, with both of my girls, if anything happens like that, and some of them need their own time before I would just let Kelsey. Sometimes she would talk to her coaches and other times, and then she would come to me when she was ready to come to me. And, you know, And sometimes she would say, I'd try to explain it and say, Kelsey, it's fine, you did this while you did. And she'd say, Mom, just let me be sad. Like, I just want to be sad. And I was like, okay, you can be sad, But yeah, this year was fantastic. Best year that she's had since she started racing. And it's great. I'm so proud of her that she's been doing so well. And it's just like, finally, and for Graham too. I mean, he puts a lot of work into it too. And finally, it's all coming together. Yeah, so I'm super proud of both of them.
They're pretty cool. They're a racing family. They're dedicated. They're serious. Graham is probably one of my best friends. But they take it serious. They put a lot into it. They sacrifice a lot.
I guess I don't really look at them as sacrifices. I put my kids ahead of myself anyway, and always did, probably always will. I just see, I know Graham, both of us, he works really hard. I find that karting is like another job, really. It's not, he loves it and enjoys it, but when I watch him, it's great for me. I can just go there and kind of talk to the other moms and, I kind of stay out of the way, but he has so much to do there. It's not relaxing, really. He says it's still relaxing, but I just see all the work that he's doing.
As busy as it is, as tired as I may be at the end of the day, no, it's my passion. It's what I love the most besides my family.
Yes, my dad, like I said, he got me started on this. That's kind of what sparked this interest. Like, say as if if he didn't race, I don't know where I would be, I don't know if this would have happened for me. But yeah, he's definitely the one who pushes me on my bad days, and he's always there for me. And just even, in my world, he's the best mechanic out there, to a lot of people too. But yeah, he definitely is just there to support me all the time and push me through everything. And yeah, he does a great job working on the kart and stuff. He's really great.
Graham is a workhorse, an absolute machine. That guy cannot sit still. Is a guy that everybody needs to have under the awning, even if they don't know it.
You have to have a good go-kart, and you have to have a decent motor, and you have to have good tires, but you have to have a driver, and she's a driver.
Kelsey has been mentored by many great coaches in her life. Because of this, coaching has become a personal interest of hers.
Well, my son coached for quite a few years, and coached Kelsey, actually, and taught Kelsey to coach. And then my son moved away, and it was just the next logical step that she was ready for it. She's very, very good at it. She comes well prepared. She has lesson plans. She has structure. It's pretty amazing.
Very professional. She knows her stuff. She practices what she preaches. She helped me with a lot of technique in my driving, my confidence on the track, because that was something that obviously starting out I didn't really have a lot of confidence on track.
She's the full package deal. She shows support on and off the track, and not just to Landon, but to us as his parents, his sister, anyone that comes as fans. She's always positive and encouraging to not just Landon, but to everyone around here. Her main goal is so that a driver achieves everything they can out of racing. It's her passion, but she loves to help others achieve their goals in doing it.
Coaching has definitely taught me a lot, just from the reward of getting to see those kids grow and excel in karting themselves is definitely just a huge reward for me, I guess. Especially even I coached Landon this year to his first win, and just seeing him excel was it was one of the best things to see.
Kelsey has had the fortune of working with and learning from many great people in the racing world, but perhaps the most instrumental person in her success has been her dad.
I feel Kelsey does a really good job with what I call the juggling act, trying to fit everything in. Karting is so busy, and she does do well at her education, but then she adds other things, and she does well at it. She amazes me at times, just brings me to awe. As much as I loved racing and driving myself watching her is 100 times better. It's just because she does. She just, there's many a time she'll be out there and I'll be like, wow, I can't believe she's mine, you know? When I raced, we always done it as a hobby. I always felt like it was a hobby. For once in my life, excuse me, I guess I look at Kelsey. Kelsey could be a professional. And I feel like sometimes she doesn't think about it because I never thought it was possible. But when I look at her and the talent that she has, yeah, it could be possible for her. And I'm just scared that maybe just because it was my thoughts that it was just a hobby, that maybe she may think that as well. And she's missing that opportunity, or she's missing that part of it where racing could be a career for her.
Racing causes so much stress and like it's so much money and all this stuff, takes away so much time from me doing other things, but at the end of the day, like it's just my passion, like just pure raw passion. Like it just means so much to me. It's just created me into the person who I am today. Like just from growing up, like being so young into this, and like just like the emotion that I talked about that I had to deal with, just like that raw emotion, and like learning how to deal with that, it's definitely just like made me into who I am today, and definitely probably played a large role in me being so involved in organizations like the NSSA and being so involved in my schoolwork. Like karting has not only like shaped me as a driver, but shaped me as a person as well. And just like getting to meet all the people who I've met through it, like all my friends and stuff like that. And some of my best friends come from karting, and like I've met so many people, whether it be from the States or from Ontario, from New Brunswick, like from all over the place. I've met so many people. And just like the memories we have, like going out for our team supper, like in Tremblant, or just traveling, like the drives and stuff, talking with my dad and my mom. Just like all those memories, it's something I'll cherish forever. Everything that karting has given me, yeah, winning's a close second to everything it's given me.
Gerald Caseley and East Coast Karting. Thank you, Gerald.
Thank you so much.
It was awesome.